Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, we serve some hot Disney gossip with a good old-fashioned tea party. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam, Gossip Girl Hummel.
XOXO PK.
I'm so excited about the new iteration of Gossip Girl. I can't hold back my feelings about it.
There's a new version of Gossip Girl coming out?
Indeed there is.
Well, it's been a good, 5 years, so probably time to reboot that, right?
That's right.
Well, I'm glad that you're excited for it. I am now excited for it too. Patrick Asgard Kazuki.
I put the ass in Asgard.
You certainly do, Patrick. How are you doing today?
I'm delicious. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I know this is a Disney podcast, but I went and saw In the Heights last night in the theater.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. People out there, go see this movie. Go celebrate this movie. Go see it in a theater if you're comfortable. It is a work of art. It is beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. I haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited to see it. I believe we're watching it tonight.
Ooh, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts about it. If you don't like it, we are no longer friends.
That's fair enough. I'm sure I will absolutely love it. I can't wait to watch it. And for our spoiler-free review, check out our other podcast, From Broadway to the Box Office. How about that?
That's right. Gays Do the Miranda.
Is that a character in I don't know anything about In the Heights.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know something about Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Are you gay? Are you sure that you're gay?
I know some things, Patrick. I mean, if you would have said Lin, I would have gotten it.
Got it. Fair enough. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Patrick, you may notice, although our listeners certainly won't because they cannot see me, that the wall behind me has completely changed color from charcoal gray to bright, shining white.
Adam, I love that you have all the colors in the world to play with to paint your house, and you chose eggshell white.
I certainly did. And I'd like to inform you, Patrick, that eggshell is more of like a finish. It's not, I'm sure there's a color called eggshell, but the finish is eggshell. The color is actually fundamental white from the Lowe's HGTV capsule collection.
Got it. Well, the color of your wall takes the fun right out of fundamental.
I know. I love it. Just a nice clean white wall, Patrick.
I can't wait to roll in the mud and just lean up against your walls.
That's assuming you'll get an invitation to visit.
Fair.
Yeah.
This is why we don't have children, because we can have white walls.
Yes, exactly. White walls and nice things.
It's true. Well, Adam, we are in the middle of June. That's right. Pride is halfway over. We're almost done with Pride. No more Pride after this month.
That's right.
But we do have 2 holidays to celebrate this week. Of course, Father's Day is coming up on June 20th. Happy Father's Day to all you daddies out there.
Ooh, Daddy. Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
Everyone just turned off this podcast. We're now just talking to each other. Oh, dear. But also, we need to celebrate coming up on June 19th, Juneteenth.
Yes, Juneteenth, a very important holiday that hasn't been widely recognized until very recently, sadly.
That's right. For those who don't know, you should look it up. There's a rich history about June 19th, but basically it is the celebration of the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States. Of course, the Emancipation Proclamation happened in 1862, but in Texas and many places, I imagine, in the country, a lot of enslaved people were not aware of this until 1865. On June 19th, 1865 is sort of the final emancipation for those who were unaware that slavery had ended in the United States. So everybody, let's educate ourselves and celebrate Juneteenth.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird holiday, isn't it? In the sense that it is celebratory because it was like the last kind of vestiges of slavery were eliminated, if that's the right word. But then also, too, how sad that some of these slaves had no idea for years after the fact when they could have been free for all of that time.
Indeed, indeed. So I don't know what the correct phrase is, but happy Juneteenth, everybody, or celebratory Juneteenth, everybody?
Happy, celebratory, reflective,
There
however
it is.
you choose to recognize the holiday. Just take a moment to reflect on the history that we don't learn about in school, people.
Oh, ooh, you said a mouthful, Adam.
And speaking of mouthfuls, Patrick, we had 2 listeners respond to last week's episode, and did they have mouthfuls of things to say as well?
We're so eloquently spoken on today's episode.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the smoothest transition ever, but in last week's episode, in case you missed it, and how dare you if you did, we had Chris from Wishful Thinking on talking about his opening day experience visiting Avengers Campus at Disneyland Resort. And as I said, 2 of our listeners had some really hot takes on their experiences and very different takes on Disneyland Resort's newest land. First up, we heard from Brian, who you can find on Instagram at, I'm totally going to butcher this, Brian, B. La Perche or La Perche?
Sure, why not?
One of those 2, I hope. Brian says, "Hey gang, as always, a wonderful episode made even more wonderful with Chris." Oh, that's so nice to say, Brian. "My husband and I were also able to go to Avengers Campus this past weekend, and we second everything Chris said. Here's our mini review. We got a boarding group for web slingers. Thank God that line was too long to get in. We would not have waited on it. Web slingers was fun, but the highlight for me was the Dora Milaje show. It was interactive and empowering with a subtle, not so subtle social justice message. We also happened to check out the Blue Sky Bar at the new Radisson that Chris mentioned, and we highly recommend. Food and staff were amazing with great sunset views. I think once fireworks start again, this will be the place where all the cool kids go to watch."
Ooh, interesting. Are we cool kids, Adam?
Absolutely not, Patrick.
That's what I figured. Sounds like Brian really enjoys the new land. On the flip side, Adam, we have Jared writing into us on Instagram, JSquare3. Jared says, "It was really nice hearing Chris's take on Avengers Campus. I did not enjoy it nearly as much as he did. It is tiny and shaped kind of like a letter T because it's kind of shoehorned in. I feel the location of it was a mistake. They took out the one area that DCA had for little kids and made it more adult. If they wanted to build Avengers Campus, they should have taken the back half of Hollywoodland since it's essentially empty. Web Slingers was fun, but man, it is a workout. I was winded by the end of it. I don't think comparing it to Galaxy's Edge is correct. It's more like Toy Story Land with some fun stuff to look at, but doesn't bring the same feels as Galaxy's Edge, if that makes sense. It does make sense, Jared." He goes on to say, "But seriously, picture a smaller version of Toy Story Land if it had opened without Slinky Dog Dash. You get a concrete slab with one ride that was already there and another that is a clone of one already at Disneyland." Ooh, Jared spilling the tea.
Kind of dragged Avengers Campus there a bit, didn't he?
He did. He dragged it. That's one thing about Disneyland, though, that Disney World has one up on, is that there's so much space in Disney World to really fully create a land, whereas Disneyland doesn't have the real estate to make an immersive new section.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And these are, 2 very different reviews of the land, as I said, and it's kind of par for the course from what we've been reading online and the various Twitter takes. There seem to be some really big fans of this land, and there seem to be a lot of people who feel that it just wasn't done quite up to their expectations.
And I have to imagine, I'm not super familiar with Disneyland. I think he's talking about putting Avengers Campus sort of where the Monsters, Inc. ride is. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he's talking about even going from like the theater where Frozen, the live show, used to be into that back area right there, because he's right. There's a lot of stuff that's just not open right now or won't be returning even when the park returns to normal operating procedures.
Fair enough. Here is my attempt at a segue. So Monsters, Inc. is there, and we also got a Monsters at Work trailer this past week. How was that?
Wow, that was brilliant, Patrick. So much more successful than my very awkward transition from Juneteenth to Avengers Campus, which I just set myself up for failure there.
Did you get a chance to look at this new trailer, Adam?
I did. I did watch the trailer, yes. What did you think, Patrick?
I'm excited. I'm excited for this new series. I think the Monsters Inc. world is just rife for a series. So I'm excited about this and the talent involved in it. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, they're bringing in a lot of great voice talent. You know, we've got Billy Crystal and John Goodman returning, as we already reported on. It looks like they're actually going to have a lesser role in the series, though. It seems like they're going to be focusing more on this new monster they're introducing as kind of the protagonist of the series. And it seems like maybe Sully and Mike will be kind of more off to the side a bit or making guest appearances.
Yeah, it feels like they're sort of turning the camera off of them and onto the world that they live in.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have to admit, I'm not a huge Monsters, Inc. guy. Like, it entertained me. I didn't see Monsters University. I'm ashamed to admit that. But that world just, for whatever reason, didn't really speak to me as much as I find Boo so cute, you know, and her relationship with Sully so cute. And I was entertained by the movie, but I'm curious to see how I'll respond to the series.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a series. I may be wrong in this, but I'm hoping a little bit more of a cartoon directed at adults.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, the classic kind of Pixar take where however they're able to do this, successfully pull off a wildly entertaining, you know, movie or series or whatever it is for adults with lots of kind of Easter egg type jokes that only adults will get. And then at the same time, entertain the kids and keep them absolutely enraptured with, you know, what they're seeing on the screen.
That's right. It's a lot like our podcast where our jokes are very hidden.
It's really like you need a decoder when you're listening to this podcast because they are so high level, I can just see them whizzing by people.
Yeah, we require our Tweedles to do a lot of heavy lifting to find the humor in our show.
We really do. We want you to be smart. We want to keep you on your toes, Tweedles. And the only way we can do that is with our very highbrow humor.
Speaking of keeping people smart, Adam, I think it's time for This Week in Disney History.
Man, you know what, Patrick? Today is your day. You are 2 for 2 on the transitions.
I better stop talking while I'm ahead. This is just going to be Adam for the rest of the
show. Please, no one wants that. Take us into This Week in Disney History.
Fair enough. All right. Well, 47 years ago, on June 14th, 1974, Adam, you'll like this piece of trivia. The Hoop-de-Doo musical review made its debut at the Pioneer Hall in Disney World's Fort Wilderness Resort. Now, the show, I did not know this, was actually created as a college program workshop and was intended to only play for that summer. But audiences loved the show so much, Disney officially picked it up, hired a professional cast and musicians, and it was officially serving more chicken for the next 4 decades.
Oh, the Hoop-de-Doo musical review debut, you say. I love the Hoop-de-Doo musical review. Yes, it is absolutely cheesy and wildly dated and just so wonderful. It's such a great show and so entertaining, and the food is delicious. The only negative side, for me anyway, is the experience of getting to the actual theater because you are required to park and then take a shuttle, and it would be great if you could just kind of get there easier, but it is worth the trip, I will say. If you've never done it before and you're heading to Walt Disney World, please go out of your way to experience that show. It's such a treat.
Yeah, it sounds like you have to jump through a lot of hoop-de-doos to get there.
A lot of hoop-de-doos, Patrick. Yes.
I really hope it comes back. I hope that this show comes back in time for us to maybe go see it in October when we're there.
Great suggestion. I would love to see it again. You haven't experienced it yet, right?
I have not. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Everyone who sees it loves it, and they all say the food is actually delicious there as well.
It's true. Yeah, and I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it is one of the longest running shows, if not the longest running show in American history.
I think at least the longest running dinner show that's ever happened in the United States.
Amazing. That's so amazing. And a lot of the original cast are still in it. I'm kidding. They're dead. Okay?
Oh, dear. We should move on very quickly.
I don't know why I went there. I got dark really quick, Patrick.
It did. Well, let me try to brighten things up, Adam. We have some very extraordinary Disneyland history to talk about next. 62 years ago, on June 14th, 1959, 2 major attractions opened in Disneyland that would forever change American transportation and attractions. First up, the Disneyland monorail began operations on this date, taking guests around a 8-mile track circling Tomorrowland. Now, this would be the first ever urban monorail system in the United States. Just 2 years later, the track would be extended to 2.5 miles, and it would become a true transportation link to the park. Now, also on this day, the Matterhorn bobsleds first started terrifying guests on a trek through the Matterhorn while being chased by a horrifying, abominable snowman. Now, fun fact, the Matterhorn is a real mountain in the Swiss Alps. While Disneyland's is only 147 feet tall, the real one is actually 100 times the size at 14,700 feet tall. Now, we could do an entire episode on the history of the Matterhorn bobsleds, but a few significant historical facts. This would be the very first roller coaster within a Disney park. Also, this was the very first roller coaster in the world to use cylindrical rails and urethane wheels, otherwise known as a tubular steel coaster, which would become standard throughout theme parks. And the Matterhorn bobsled is one of very few attractions in Disneyland that has never been replicated in any other Disney park.
That's fascinating.
It really is. The history behind this attraction is so rich. This, like I said, it was a first of its kind.
Also, the first Disney attraction to require a visit to a chiropractor immediately after you finish riding it.
That's right. That's right. And maybe a vocal coach because I scream my face off on this ride.
It's such a great attraction. Always a must-do when visiting Disneyland. And the kind of updates, the upgrades they've made to it relatively recently really increase the scare factor on it as well as just kind of the overall storytelling experience.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, Adam, this might be my very favorite attraction in Disneyland.
Yeah, that's a great choice, Patrick. Quintessential Disney, so fun.
So fun. But that, my friends, wraps up this week in Disney history.
Patrick, I would say that this week in Disney history was totes amazing.
Thank you so much. I see where you're going with this segue.
I feel good about this one. Do you feel good about this segue?
I feel strong about it. I'll let you take it home, Adam.
Okay, great. That means it's time for our totes amazing Pride Prize Pack giveaway winner announcement. We have 2 winners to announce. We have an Instagram winner and we have a Patreon family member winner. That's right. In last week's episode, we did announce that a winner would have their choice of one of our GDTD logo t-shirts and a GDTD logo tote bag. Patrick?
Yes?
I'm going to let you make the first announcement, and I'm going to let you choose which winner you're going to announce.
Ooh, thank you so much. I am going to announce our Instagram winner. These Tweedles did a lot of work this past week. So many entries. My phone is still overheated from all of the announcements.
A lot of notifications coming through. A lot of adding people.
People added us so hard this past week.
They added us so hard. So, Patrick, who is the Instagram winner?
Drum roll, please. Bam.
That kind of sounded like Mad Hatter's Tea Party.
It's a little bit of Dumbo, a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. Our winner is Rob, who is on Instagram, rzinger. Congratulations, Rob, and happy Pride to you.
Congratulations, Rob. Happy Pride. We'll be reaching out to get, oh my gosh, so much information from you, Rob, like your t-shirt choice, your size, your color, your tote choice, a lot going on there. And that means we move on to our Patreon winner. And our Patreon winner is Steven. Congratulations, Steven, and happy Pride to you, sir.
Steven and Rob, you gems, thank you so much for being a part of our family. We salute you. We celebrate you. We think you're totes amazing.
You both are so totes amazing, as is everyone who entered. Thank you to all who entered. And if you didn't win, you know what? You can still be a winner by visiting our merch store. That's right. If you go head on over to gaysdothed.com/merch, you can see our full lineup of all of our t-shirts, totes, pillows, coffee mugs, masks, stickers, magnets, what have you. And just know that if you make a purchase, 100% of the proceeds that we receive from those sales will be donated to the LGBTQ Freedom Fund. So your money's going to a great cause.
And listen, if you don't want our merch, listen, I can't blame you, but you do want to make a donation directly to the LGBTQ Freedom Fund, you can go to lgbtqfund.org.
And with that, Patrick, we will transition into the Disney news. And I'm going to leave it to you to come up with a funny, fantastic, fabulous, amazing transition to get us into the news. No pressure, go.
And here's the news, everyone. How was that? Was that good? Was that okay?
Oh, Patrick.
Cue that music.
Get us out of this. The Epcot International Food and Wine Festival returns to Walt Disney World Resort this year, kicking off on July 15th and running through November 20th. Yes, Patrick, that's 129 days of food and fun.
That's not enough. It's not nearly enough.
And this year's festival has a presenting sponsor, Corksicle.
Okay.
Corksicle produces insulated tumblers, coffee mugs, coolers, barware, canteens, and more. I learned that today, Patrick.
Put a corksicle in it.
You put a corksicle. You do that. I can't even say it. Global marketplaces will serve up a host of international flavors, including fan favorite dishes from Hawaii, Australia, Germany, Canada, and Greece, as well as new spicy and savory and sweet plates to please your palate. More details on specific menu items will be released soon, but there are new global marketplace concepts coming to Morocco, the American Adventure, and throughout the park in July, with even more marketplaces opening in the fall. If you visit Shimmering Sips Global Marketplace, say Shimmering Sips 3 times fast, Patrick.
I think it might be my new drag name, Shimmering Sips.
If you visit Shimmering Sips Global Marketplace and 4 other locations during the event, you'll discover several sparkling beverage options available for purchase in an exclusive keepsake Corksicle premium beverage container. Popular entertainment is back too, with performances by Voices of Liberty, Mariachi Cobre, and Jammin' Chefs. The festival will also open with the American Gardens Bandstand presented by Florida Blue Medicare. So many sponsors this year. A live music concert series performed Friday through Monday evenings. Local bands from across Central Florida will take to the American Gardens Theater stage, playing popular songs of yesterday and today, but let's face it, mostly yesterday, right, Patrick?
Is Whitesnake appearing this year?
Whitesnake is appearing. We've got 98 Degrees appearing. Actually, I would see 98 Degrees.
They're probably the most contemporary artists that will be there.
They're the most au courant. Yes. For families, Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak will send kids of all ages on a savory scavenger hunt around the festival. Another way for families to have fun together is by participating in Emile's Fromage Montage. They are all about the tongue twisters, where you'll find new ways to experience cheese, which is just...
Ooh, that's a rough sentence.
I like to think I've experienced cheese in so many ways, and not just in my mouth. You know, like.
But wait, there's more.
Anyway, you can find new ways to experience cheese when you purchase 5 participating dishes from select global marketplaces, including a passion fruit cheesecake with toasted macadamia nuts. That sounds amazing. Why are they just highlighting that one, though? What's going on?
It's just the one. That's the new experience.
I mean, it sounds amazing. Okay. Collect 5 stamps and scurry over to Shimmering Sips for a prize. The festival is available with valid theme park admission and a park reservation for the same date. Visit tasteepcot.com for more information and keep an eye out for #TasteEpcot on social channels for menu releases and updates. Patrick, we're going to be able to experience the Food and Wine Festival this year, sponsored by Corksicle.
I'm very excited about this. You know, if it's a hot, hot day in Florida, you too can experience cheese in a whole new way.
Oh, Patrick. Oh, my
Sorry,
God.
I'm so sorry.
That may have been the furthest we've ever gone.
Oh. I feel bad. Disney Disney is introducing a brand new educational program designed to inspire and foster the creative potential of the next generation of leaders. And boy, after that last cheese joke, do we need some new creative potential out there?
We need visionaries. We need people to pull us out of the depths we've created.
Can't apologize enough, everybody. Can't apologize enough. Disney Imagination Campus will provide a curriculum across a range of performing arts and academic subjects tiered to different grade levels that will help students learn how to apply their imaginations to solve challenges in creative new ways. Starting in January 2022, students will be able to enroll in workshops within the pillars of arts and humanities, science and technology, and leadership and innovation. The classes were created in collaboration with Walt Disney Imagineering and designed to deliver an elevated educational curriculum that meets the needs of the students of tomorrow. A quote from VP of Sales, Services, and Events, Marianne Smith: "Our Imagineering partners are renowned for blue sky thinking, masterful storytelling, and creative problem solving. We've taken these key skills and worked with Walt Disney Imagineering, Disney Live Entertainment, and other Disney thought leaders to create new educational experiences to challenge students to use their imagination, all within our real-world learning laboratories and performance venues across our theme parks." The classes were developed using 6 main tenets: imagination, creativity, curiosity, potential, diversity, and storytelling. Some of the classes available are Physics in Imagineering, Disney Broadway Magic, Marching Band, Immersive Storytelling, Theme Park Design, and Leadership and Teamwork. Disney will also be collaborating with Kahoot, an interactive learning app, to give students who are attending a workshop or just visiting a park a learning opportunity that will test their comprehension and retention of key learning objectives during their visit. To learn more about Disney's Imagination Campus and enrollment, visit disneycampus.com.
Kahoot, you say?
Do you give a Kahoot about this story, Adam?
I certainly do. I was so happy to hear that gym wasn't one of the classes.
Yeah, there's no physical activity needed here, except for marching band, I guess.
Marching band can be quite taxing. On a hot day, you're wearing that outfit, that costume, that ensemble with the giant fur hat and the kicking. They kick, right?
Sure, why not?
At last week's annual Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC if you're in the know, which I was not. I had to Google that acronym, Patrick. Apple unveiled a new feature of its FaceTime video chat app dubbed SharePlay, which provides a way for multiple users to watch video or listen to music together virtually while chatting at the same time. According to a June 7th Variety article, the SharePlay feature will be available in iOS 15, the next major upgrade to the tech giant's device operating system that is slated to be available in the fall of 2021 for iPhone 6s and later. In addition, Apple is introducing a web-based version of FaceTime, which will allow users with iPhone and other Apple iOS devices to connect and use SharePlay with friends on Android devices and PCs via Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge browsers. How does this relate to Disney, you ask? So happy you asked. Apple has inked deals with partners, including Disney, to support co-viewing features in Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+. Apple notes that with SharePlay, quote, some shared content may require a subscription to view, end quote. For example, if you're sharing I don't know, Patrick, Disney's live-action remake of Dumbo, as Patrick loves to share. Others in this session must also have access to a valid Disney Plus account to be able to watch it. So, Patrick, it sounds like it's thanks for everything Disney Plus Group Watch, but your services are no longer required as of this fall.
That's all.
That's all.
How do you feel about this technology?
I'm really excited about it. During the pandemic, I along with some of my college friends, would have like a virtual movie viewing night, and we would just, start the movie at the same time. Or if we were using Group Watch, obviously that would activate the film at the same time for us. And we would just text, right? Which is great. And it was fun to be able to text during a film. Mm-hmm. But in this instance now, we'll all be able to see each other while we're watching the film and kind of live out our full MST3K fantasies while we kind of rip the movie to shreds while we're watching it.
Fair. That's fair. I can see that. I just don't need someone to watch me watch a movie. You know what I mean?
I don't understand. You don't want to be watched?
Me eating popcorn is not a sight anyone needs to watch. It's real aggressive.
Disagree. You have not seen the face of God unless you've seen Patrick just pounding through some popcorn.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I'll tell you what, if you try to FaceTime me with the live action remake of Dumbo, I'm always going through a tunnel at the time. Well, Adam, I have some more Disney media news for you. Some very exciting and super gay news to share in the world of Disney media. First up, this July, Disney Parks attractions will be fully exposing themselves to audiences in a new behind-the-scenes docu-series called Behind the Attraction. This new 10-part series will give viewers backstage access to Disney Parks' most beloved resorts and attractions around the world, including the Disneyland Hotel, the Jungle Cruise, the Haunted Mansion, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and each castle within the Disney Park. The series is narrated by Paget Brewster, who Disney fans may remember as Della Duck in the recent DuckTales series, or as Chandler's girlfriend Kathy in Friends. Each episode will dive deep into the Disney archives to bring you never-before-seen photographs and footage showing the evolution of each highlighted attraction and resort. Along the way, viewers will also be treated to interviews from Disney legends and past and present Imagineers, including Bob Weiss, Jeanette Lomboy, Kim Irvine, Scott Trowbridge, Carmen Smith, Joe Rohde, and of course rare interview footage from Walt Disney himself. All 10 episodes will start streaming on Disney Plus this July 16th. Next up, the 2016 concert Disney's Broadway Hits, which was staged and filmed at the Royal Albert Hall, will be available on Disney Plus starting this July 2nd. The concert, of course, pays tribute to Disney on Broadway's greatest hits like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Mary Poppins, and The Lion King. The show features some of Broadway's best singers like Merle Dandridge, Josh Strickland, Trevor Dion Nichols, Ashley Brown, and John Barrowman. And it includes a special appearance from Alan Menken. Now, if that wasn't gay enough for you, on to the gayest news that's ever been reported. Miss Piggy will make a guest appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 6. That's right, Tweedles. Dreams do come true. It's a perfect example of speaking something into existence. We were teased last year with a RuPaul interview on the very first episode of Muppets Now, and Miss Piggy gave an interview on the AV Club saying that she is ready to make an appearance on Drag Race. Premiering this June 24th, Miss Piggy will join the ranks of other celebrity guest appearances like Aisha Tyler, Jamal Sims, Tia Mowry, Angela Bassett, Alec Mappa, Fortune Feimster, and Tanya Tucker. What a drag name, among many others. I have to say, we've been talking for a while on this pod about how much we love the Muppets and how we want them to find their place, and this feels like it might be right. Just tease them into pop culture.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's when they're most successful. And in particular, when the talented artists who perform the Muppets are allowed to improvise, I think that's when it's like gold. Like the comedy just free flows and they're able to fully go full Muppet.
I love it. Go full Muppet. Yeah, I think having the Muppets be sort of Disney ambassadors, right? That can appear in movies and TV shows and podcasts. Not only that, but they can be super great social messaging ambassadors, if that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Much like the vaccination campaign that was just headed up by the Muppets. I think this is where they should live.
Yeah, I'm excited to experience Piggy as part of that judges panel.
It's going to be the gayest thing. Like I said, the gayest thing that's ever happened.
Do you think her and Michelle Visage are going to have some beef or pork, rather?
Hey-oh.
Patrick, you boldly claimed in your last story that it was the gayest news ever that Miss Piggy was appearing on RuPaul's Drag Race, but I respectfully disagree with you because this story is actually the gayest news story.
Bring it on.
Pride Month 2021 has already been there, done that. If you want to really be gay and cool and at the forefront of gay coolness, start planning for next year's Pride by celebrating as part of Gay Days Orlando 2022. That's right, Gay Days Orlando 2022 will kick off on May 31st and run through June 6th, 2022 at a new host hotel and with bigger than ever parties. Patrick, I know how you love those gay day parties.
Take me to a pool party, please.
The new host hotel is Avanti Palms, one of the finest resorts in Orlando and a state-of-the-art property located minutes away, about 20 minutes away, actually, from Walt Disney World Resort. Avanti Palms features wonderful dining, an outdoor pool complex, fitness center, very important for the gays to mention that fitness center, and more. And the director of entertainment for Gay Days 2022 is Chantal Richet, Miss Gay Days in 2018. Chantal will oversee the entertainment aspects of Gay Days, including booking the DJs for Patrick's favorite Gay Days pool parties and special events that help to continue to make Gay Days the #1 LGBTQ vacation destination. After 2 years with no Gay Days in Orlando due to COVID-19, Chantal is working to reimagine Gay Days entertainment to build a stronger event for the future. To learn more about Gay Days 2022 offerings, visit gaydays.com. Patrick, somewhere, do you feel it? Somewhere there's a twink listening who just got their wings. We're doing God's work by reporting this news.
That's right. Someone just went, that gay gasp, you know what I mean? Oh, hello there, Adam.
Oh, hello, Patrick.
You know, it's Pride Month, as we've said 1 zillion times here on this very episode of Gays Do the D. And I thought, Adam, what's the gayest thing we could do? And that is to gossip about Disney. Take some Disney topics and drag them.
You're right. I mean, I don't want to reduce our people or our culture or our ways of communicating down to a very common denominator, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to gossip like little girls.
Or big gays.
Or big adult gay men.
That's
yes.
right. That's right. We're having a tea party. I love our tea parties, Adam. This is only our second one, but I had so much fun at the first one. It's time to do it again.
It is so fun. For those of you that don't know, this gives Patrick and I a chance to just improvise or riff as jazz musicians do on various Disney topics. Hot topics. Patrick, they're so hot.
They're so hot. I burnt my finger on many of them. That's right. These are items that didn't necessarily make it as news stories, but they're rather discussion points within the Disney community.
And they really give Patrick and I a chance to just pop off and let our thoughts be known. And quite frankly, be controversial, because that's how you get discovered, Patrick, is by being controversial.
That's right. That's right. And we encourage all of you at home to join us on our tea party. That's right. Pour yourselves a cup of tea. And by tea, I mean just a cup of vodka and spill it. Spill some tea with us, everybody.
Yeah, sit back, relax, and feel free to chime in with your thoughts. We won't be able to hear you, but if you write into us or you send us an email or a voice memo, then we'll be able to obviously hear you if you did that.
It's true. It's true. We'll give you all of that information at the end of this. So you have to sit through our tea party to figure out how you can contact us.
That's the reward. Yep.
In the meantime, Adam, let's jump right in, shall we, to our tea party? Do you want to pick the first topic or shall I?
I would love to pick the first topic because this is very of the moment, I think. I want to talk about the premiere of Loki on Disney Plus, Patrick.
Oh, boy. Is this ever a good topic for Pride? Because Tom Hiddleston, ooh-wee.
I was Tom Hiddle stunned by his pecs.
I like it. I like what you're doing there. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about just a blatant topless moment for Tom Hiddleston?
It was so good. But beyond that, there's a show. There's a series, actually. There's script writers and other actors, and there's a story. But do we want to focus just on the chest, or should we expand our thoughts?
Let's spend one more second. Everyone take a moment of silence in adoration of Tom Hiddleston's bod. And away we go. So this is the third of the Marvel series to come out this year, in fact.
Yeah, it's been such a productive year for Marvel. And, we had WandaVision, which was more of a kind of like a kooky, kind of mystical take on Marvel, very conceptual. And then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was a little more straightforward, I would say, kind of what you'd expect from a Marvel film. And now we have this new Loki series, which kind of is a return again to the more kind of crazy conceptual Marvel show.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like WandaVision was a little bit, to compare it to another TV show like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Charmed or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was sort of a buddy comedy, if you will. Not so much a comedy, I guess, but sort of a Lethal Weapon kind of a show. Yeah. And Loki so far appears to be a little bit maybe X-Files, if you will.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. There seems to be a lot of influences that are wrapped into this show very successfully. I can see the X-Files connection, Patrick. I think there's a lot of allusions to Terry Gilliam movies like Brazil. It seems like the art direction for this series just had a wonderful time putting together the looks and the locations for this series. And then also, too, I think there's a bit of Stanley Kubrick flavoring to not only the look, but also kind of the story elements to the series.
That's a hot take. I like it. Well done there. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. I'm one episode in, obviously, but I'm interested to see where it goes. It's really nice to see this character, Loki. I think he's one of the more complex characters within the Marvel universe that Disney has presented to us anyways.
That's a great point to bring up, because already in this series, in this one episode, we've seen him cracking wise and making jokes. And in the very same episode, we saw him tearing up and having this very dramatic moment. And there's a couple of those moments actually in the very first episode. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And on top of that, there's a time hopping element. As we know, Loki loves to jump around in time. And I think the way they've kind of mapped that out for the series is going to be really, really fascinating and fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's interesting. They're sort of highlighting the fact that Loki as a character, he is the god of mischief, right? And it depends on how you look at the word mischief. Is it good or is it bad? It's not necessarily an evil thing to be mischievous, as Loki has tried to be. So it's interesting to see him on this divide, this sort of mental journey that he's going on.
Yeah, I was texting my brother after watching the first episode, and Alex brought up a really great point, kind of something that you just alluded to, was that we're seeing Loki kind of come to terms with not only what he's done up until this point, but who he wants to be in his life going forward.
Yeah, it's sort of like he put himself in the villain role, whereas he's not necessarily a villain. So it's time for him to sort of see what he can be, what his potential is.
Yeah, that's so great. And there's been some great, as I mentioned already, comedic moments already, not just from Tom Hiddleston, but from the rest of the cast as well. I'm thinking of Eugene Cordero, who plays like the kind of assistant or receptionist for the facility that Loki's being held in. So hysterically funny.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I'm really liking Owen Wilson as well. It's fun to see him in this character. He's usually the funny guy in a show, and this time around he's sort of not so much the straight man, but he's a little bit more reserved in this role so far anyways. Yeah,
we get a little bit of that kind of classic Owen Wilson flavoring, but you're right, he is kind of seen as more of like an authority figure, but I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion, Patrick, that he'll loosen up a bit more as the series continues.
I think so. I wouldn't mind if he loosened me up, frankly.
Oh my, are you an Owen Wilson fan?
I am. I think he is so attractive.
You want him to be like, Patrick.
Oh, dear.
Patrick, I'm in love with you, Patrick.
Was that Owen Wilson or Cher? It was kind
of... I mean, if it was Cher, wouldn't that be acceptable as well?
Maybe they're the same person. Who knows?
We finally figured it out. That's the big twist in this series.
Talk about turning back time.
Oh, Patrick. That's why we're friends. That's why, right there. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see where the series is going to go. I think it's got a great look. I think they've set up the premise so well. And the cast so far has been stellar, so it's going to be a fun watch.
Yeah, it was a great first episode, that's for sure. I think WandaVision also had a really strong first episode.
Yeah.
Not so much Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me. I feel like that show, I liked the show, but it took a while for me to really get into it.
Yeah, I'm going to admit right now and be very raw and exposed and tell you that I have not finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet.
Oh, I think you're in for a surprise. It does get better. I think it's just, it started out with such a slow burn, and I think that was its detriment, because I think a lot of people like you turned off on it, and you have to stick with it, because I think, in my opinion, it gets better.
That's what I've heard. And I think a large part of it is that I was on such a high from WandaVision and loving the kookiness of it. And I think, bold statement I'm making right here, Patrick, but I think that that's where Marvel's sweet spot is now, is that kind of kookiness and craziness and introducing us to ways of telling stories that haven't been explored before, and also design elements and things like that. Like, I want it to get weird with Marvel. And so when I started watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was more like a movie to me, or what I'd seen from Marvel up until that point. So I need to give it more of a shot. I understand, but Loki, I'm into you. I'm into it.
It's true. I think I can speak broadly on this, but I'll at least say it for myself. I think I'm a little marveled out, if that makes sense. I think we were so saturated for so long in these Marvel movies, and that's what, as you said, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was. It was like a Marvel movie, whereas now I think we're ready for a different journey from Marvel.
Yes, and in order for Marvel to continue producing movies and series and things like that, there need to be these different takes to keep us invested in the characters and the stories.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, let's move on, shall we, to a new Tea Party topic.
Yes, clean cut, move it on down, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Well, let's keep it sort of in the Avengers realm, Adam. Here's a topic that you provided, some Avengers campus criticism.
Yes. I mean, we've kind of already talked about this at the top of this episode, right? With Brian and Jared's kind of very polarizing feedback that they gave on Avengers Campus. But to me, anyway, the impression I'm getting is that more people feel negatively towards the opening of Avengers Campus than they do positively towards it.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think there's been so much anticipation for this new park. I'm interested to know why it's been such a letdown for so many people.
I was thinking about that this week, Patrick, and I couldn't help but wonder if Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has forever spoiled any kind of new land opening now, because the size and the level of detail given to that land, anything else that comes after that now is going to pale in comparison unless Disney absolutely goes all out in any kind of new construction that they do.
I think that's a fair point. I think absolutely yes to that. I would also throw Pandora, the world of Avatar, in there as well, in how immersive and beautiful it is. I also think it's partly those lands are so separated from the rest of the park as well. You're actually walking into a new world, and it could be its own park, whereas it seems as though Avengers Campus, you still know that you're in Disneyland, right?
As you've already referenced, it's tough to escape that in, the land that Disneyland Resort is available to kind of expand into. But that's a great point, is there's no transition. There's no kind of gentle lead in to kind of guide you into that experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Disney might be boxing themselves in with, when they create new stuff, it's a full land as opposed to just fun rides within Disneyland and Disney World itself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, should Avengers Campus not have been promoted as a land necessarily? Should it just have been a couple of attractions that are in close proximity to each other? I mean, we're commenting on this having not seen the land, obviously, but it's just kind of been overwhelming to be online and on Twitter and places like that and see all this negative feedback coming in. And yes, Disney is in a tight spot, right? We're coming out of a pandemic. There are restrictions that have to be in place. But at the same time, it's disappointing to see these long lines just to enter a land. I realize that happened with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as well, but look what you were getting with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, right? It wasn't just one new attraction, a new restaurant, and some character experiences. So it's fascinating to watch people's reaction to this. And I'm really curious and somewhat scared, to be honest, about how I'm going to feel the first time I experience Avengers Campus.
Yeah, for sure. As I've said before on the pod, Avengers is slowly becoming the new Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
For this generation, where people have now grown up with the Avengers, much like we grew up with Star Wars. So I think expectations are so high, and if you're going to do a land, do it in Disney World instead, I think, where they have the real estate to like really put you there, as opposed to just giving you an experience, if that makes sense. A land and an experience, I think, are two different things.
Yeah, but as Chris mentioned in last week's episode, they don't have the rights on the East Coast to really flesh out this kind of Marvel experience in Walt Disney World. So there's a lot of complicated issues that went into the opening of this land. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Disney adapts, how they kind of appease guests who may look at this as kind of a one and done experience. I mean, yes, you can ride web slingers over and over again and have a different experience. At least that's the impression I'm getting from it. But the other attractions, the restaurant, Pym Test Kitchen, the character experiences, how is Disney going to keep those things fresh so that people keep coming back to Avengers Campus? Now, having said that, already they have a new Loki meet and greet based on the series Loki, right? They have Loki in his costume from the series. So that's interesting that they're using the Landis to kind of promote newer projects like that. So maybe that's something they'll do going forward is have these new kind of meet and greets to draw people in.
Sure, that makes sense. They can make it more of a show experience as opposed to an attractions experience. I have to wonder if Disney is a little bit kicking themselves for jumping the gun on Cars, I think, because Cars Land is such an enormous space. And while the Cars attraction is very successful, the Cars franchise kind of petered out, right? No one really cares about Cars anymore. And I wonder if they're like, boy, oh boy, if we had just waited a couple of years, we could have made this the Avengers Campus.
Do you think that's really true, though? Because there are constantly, when you think of like little kids, are constantly obsessed with like construction trucks and cars. And like there's always going to be that new crop of kids. That's how they're produced, right? Kids are produced by farming crops.
They really are.
If my Cabbage Patch taught me one thing in the 80s, it was that they come out of a field. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, there's always that fascination with like moving equipment like that. So maybe generation after generation will really appreciate that land. But you're right, that space is huge and could have been utilized for something like Avengers Campus.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Absolutely. I think Cars, though, it's so niche. Like, the kids will grow out of that. Like, it's a couple of years that they're into it, and then they're done with it. Whereas Marvel, I feel like kids are starting out really young liking Marvel, and it follows them through. So, yeah, I wish that they could do a swapsies. Put the Cars stuff where Marvel is, and put Marvel where the Cars stuff is.
I think you just solved it, and I think it's just that simple.
It's really that easy to just move it. Just move it all.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this plays out. I will be watching you, Avengers Campus, with a keen eye to see how you adapt to changes not only in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but how you adapt to guests' demands.
We're watching you.
Creepy. Speaking of creepy, Patrick, and sticking to Disneyland Resort, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, the refurb of the classic dark ride attraction, reopened with Disneyland, and some of the changes were not that well received by some people.
I think you're specifically talking about the kiss at the end of the ride, yes?
That's right. The kiss the prince bestows upon Snow White to wake her from her coma. Let's just say it. She's in a coma.
She is. It's very Grey's Anatomy,
So some people said that the kiss scene that was added to the attraction is inappropriate because it was a non-consensual kiss.
Listen, I have to actually agree with this. I think that, we're in a different place right now than we were when Snow White was made. I understand that the story itself is not intending that, obviously. It's supposed to be about romance and love. But at the end of the day, yeah, boys, girls, don't kiss somebody who's sleeping if they don't know you.
Yeah, I can see. I'm a little bit more, I guess, I hate to like take the other side of this because I feel like I'm just automatically like a conservative commentator, and I'm absolutely not that. But, you know, it's baked into the fairy tale. And technically, she was wishing for the kiss or wishing for her prince to come. And, you know, they did meet. They had a moment, and she knew that that was the guy for her, I think. I hope anyway. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to talk to Snow White about it, but I'm hoping that she's okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't mean to get super cancel culture on it, but yeah, it's part of the movie. It's a little bit of history. Hopefully we're telling our children when they see that, like, hey, that's not necessarily what it looks like. We shouldn't be doing this, obviously. It's a tough one. This is a sticky situation, I feel
it
like.
really is. I would just hope that parents would have a broader conversation with their kids about what's real and what's not real. And, you know, as opposed to like getting into like the minutia of the moment or, you know, but you're right. I mean, I get that there are kind of layers to this that complicate things, but also I would hope parents would have a conversation with their kids about what a gray area is and how life is full of like complications and gray areas, and that not everything is black and white, and our lives can't be lived that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. Snow White in and of itself is problematic, right? I mean, it's all about women fighting each other over beauty. That's problematic. It's about a woman who finds herself in a house with 7 dwarves and her job is to clean the dishes. That's problematic. You know, like her first thought is, boy, I should clean up this house because I'm the woman of the house now. Problematic. Yeah. It's not a great story for females, right? So you're right. We should be having conversations with our children about, this is a cartoon. This is not reality. You can be whatever you want to be. You are not boxed into this role. If you want to be that role, great, more power to you. But this is not this is not how we should be portraying women, for sure.
Absolutely. But 2 women fighting about beauty, that speaks right to my gay heart.
It's really an Alyssa Coco situation.
It's Alyssa Coco. It's Death Becomes Her. I love all of it.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's sort of stick to this topic a little bit and dive into a little bit more Disney and diversity. This is a hot topic lately. Is Disney doing enough right now? Have they hit a good sweet spot? Very specifically around maybe pride and LGBTQ plus issues. What do you think?
I struggle with this kind of conversation because I think I'm of a generation that is maybe a little bit more patient when it comes to changes, especially around LGBTQ plus issues. Like, I've lived a longer life than some of these kids out there, you know, and I certainly understand the want for like rapid change, and it needs to change. I'm not saying it doesn't need to change, but I think I'm just from a generation that's a little bit more patient and a little bit more understanding that these things will take time. Now, would I love for things to happen in a snap? Absolutely, I would, you know, but I think there's an opportunity here for us to have conversations, to use this time when the transitions are happening, to have conversations with people who may be a little bit more hesitant to accept the changes.
Yeah, I would fully agree with that. I think what I will say is Disney was a little late to the game when it comes to making these changes, right?
Yeah.
I think that they are finally making some very visible changes, and
Yes.
I have to applaud them for their efforts there. Do I think they can do more? Absolutely. This being Pride Month, I wish that Disney would maybe fully, pardon the pun, come out
Right.
as being a part of the Pride celebration, not just in June, but all the time. But I think there's an opportunity to maybe put out a commercial, a Pride commercial. I think right now, all I'm seeing Disney really do is sell merch, right? And make a buck off of it. And though it's great that they actually have Pride merch and they're actually calling it Pride merch this time
Right.
around, as opposed
Right.
to we happen to have rainbow stuff as they were doing a couple of years ago. I think that they can push the envelope a little further in their support of Pride.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is interesting that since we started this podcast, you're right, it's gone from rainbow merch to now officially being recognized as Pride merch. And you're right. Why not use this time to release a full-on Pride commercial, come out, make your statement officially? You know, I think we all know how Disney feels. We recognize it as a community that they are supportive of us. It's just we need that kind of blatant support. And not only we don't need it, but like the broader world needs it. They need to see that to know where Disney stands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Disneyland Paris, right? That actually does have a Pride celebration sponsored by Disney in the parks. And I'm a little confused, specifically Disneyland being in California, why they aren't doing a Disney-sponsored Pride event.
I know we've said this before, but it feels like we're right on the precipice of that happening.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe next year's the year that they fully come out and say, this is a Pride celebration. We're having these nights be Pride nights in the parks or something like that, like fully embrace the community.
Can you even imagine a Disneyland or Disney World Pride parade? I mean, that would be bonkers and amazing to see. I feel like I would both cry and dance at the same time if there was a Disney Pride parade.
You know, one thing that the foreign parks do better, in my opinion, than the domestic parks is go there, Patrick.
Yeah.
Like they fully go bonkers for like, it doesn't even need to be like Disney canon. Obviously the characters are there, but like they dress up those characters in costumes that are completely insanely wonderful, right? Like so colorful, so fun. And that's one thing that the domestic parks really need, is to embrace the kind of kookiness, craziness that they can, the magic, and that's one area where they could absolutely do that, is if they were to embrace Pride. I mean, rainbows. Come on. Come on, Disney. Like characters wearing full-on rainbow outfits. Like it could really be such a special time. And it's a great way to teach the children, the actual children, the little kids, that there's not just a binary, right? There's all these different ways to live a life. And it's not about choice. It's about your DNA and celebrating who you are from birth.
Yeah, it's about existence and acceptance. And it's right there in Disney's DNA as well. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. I mean, it's right there. Just embrace it.
Maybe the commercial is the footage from opening day of Disneyland, Disney saying that, and full on just turning to another dude and open mouth kissing him.
And that's the gay experience, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, did we just fix it? I think we did.
Someday my prince will come, you know?
Yes, he would obtain consent first. May I kiss you? Yes. And then we'd see the kiss.
There it is. There it is. Ooh, we're going deep today.
I like it, Patrick. All right, Patrick, clean cup.
Move down.
Let's talk about Skyliner crashes.
What a great segue.
Much like an actual crash, it's abrupt. It hurt a little bit, that segue, but what is going on? Like normally we talk about the monorail having issues, but there's been 3 Skyliner incidents now.
Incident is a soft word for what this was. It's a collision. It's a full collision that's happening. Glass is breaking. Terrifying. I can't remember. Have you been on the Skyliner yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing scarier than coming in for a landing on the Skyliner. I wet myself every single time.
Yes, it is smooth but sudden. I will say that coming into those stations.
I'm not a scientist, very, very clearly. I don't understand the mechanics behind it. Why do they need to come in so hot? It's the fastest thing I've ever been on when it's coming in for those landings. And that's why they're crashing. I feel like they're coming in way too fast. I don't know. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a mechanic or a scientist.
That's a good point. It seems like at least 2 of the incidents I know of did happen in the stations, or that's where like it originated, where the gondolas kind of crashing into each other in the stations. And as we talked about, Disney World has the real estate. Why is there not more of a gradual descent on those things? There must be something mechanical going on that needs to happen. They need to come down that quickly, or that's how they kind of keep the machine propelling. That's not even the right word. I don't know either, but there's got to be a reason for that. Regardless of that happening, you're right. It is very, very sudden. Having said that, the Skyliner's wonderful. It's a great way to get around Walt Disney World. It offers beautiful views of the property. But Patrick, do these incidents make you hesitant to ride the Skyliner on future trips?
I mean, I don't know. Yes and no. I also love the Skyliner. I am not a heights person by any stretch of the imagination, but I do love the Skyliner. There is nothing scarier than being stopped on a Skyliner over a
Right.
highway. No, thank you. No, ma'am. That's just terrifying. But I will say 3 incidents out of 8 million trips that have happened so far on the Skyliner. I mean, the odds are pretty good that you're not going to crash into another Skyliner car
Right.
while you're on it. But when it does happen, it's terrifying and it makes the news for sure.
At the very least, guests are thinking when they get on it, regardless of whether you have a fear of heights or not, you have to be thinking, is this the time that there's going to be an incident and I'm going to be stuck? And that's the last thing you want guests thinking, especially when you're Walt Disney World, who, ensures guest safety with these really wonderful, thrilling rides, and yet the Skyliner's an issue?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always thinking when I get on a Skyliner, have I gone to the restroom within the last hour or so? Because if there's a chance I'm going to be stopped on there, that's not something you want to have happen to you.
Yeah, BYOP, that's bring your own pee bottle.
Gross and true. Gross and true.
And let's hope you don't have to do something else because yikes.
That's what that medical bag's for.
We can't fix this one.
We really can't. It's just, it's inevitable that incidents are going to happen. And this happens to be the one mode of transportation where this is the last place you want an incident to happen, is when you're in a flying cup, basically in the air with absolutely no control over it.
It is a smaller transportation vehicle. And obviously mechanical issues are going to happen. It always happens, but these just seem more risky.
Which is strange because, in truth, it's probably the safest form of transportation with Disney. You're more likely to get into a bus accident than you are to get into an incident on the Skyliner.
Well, great, Patrick. Now I'm terrified of buses.
Sorry about it, everybody.
All right, Patrick, where are we headed next?
Good question. Clean cup, move down. Well, let's stay in the parks for a little bit longer, Adam. Here's a topic that's on my mind lately, especially from my last trip to the parks. Epcot. What's up with Epcot, Adam? What's going on there? Has it lost its magic? Is the magic returning? What's going on with Epcot these days?
I'm offended that this question made the list. No, I understand why this is on the list. And I think Epcot is going through puberty. I think that, it's a very awkward time for anyone to experience. And I think my favorite park is going through a transitional phase where it's kind of figuring out what it's going to be. And what it's going to be is wonderful, but we all just need to be patient and hang in there for a little bit longer, and we'll see Epcot revealed as the jewel it once was and the jewel it now will be once all the construction is done.
Thank you. That was your mayoral candidacy speech for Epcot. I like it. Listen, I'm on the flip side of this. Epcot for me right now is not great. It's definitely going through some angsty time right now for sure.
Yeah, I get that, but you have to understand Epcot was so conceptual when it opened. It's not like this park with attractions and options for like little kids and adults. When it opened, it was about the world and community and coming together, and also science and kind of the progress that humankind has made. And there's a way that can be celebrated going forward into the future, but it needs to be adapted, right? The park's message needs to be adapted. And that's something that, we see Zach Ridley working on that every day. He posts to Instagram, and we see these wonderful images that are coming out of Epcot and the progress that they're making. It's just unfortunate that all of these announcements were made. We entered into a pandemic, and now things have to be scaled back a bit. We aren't getting some of the attractions we were promised, or that were announced at least. And that's nothing new for Epcot. We've had pavilions announced before and they've never been built. So Epcot is always going to be an in-progress park. But the good news is that the way they're kind of envisioning it now in this next iteration, it seems like it's going to be more about global celebration and coming together, and I don't want to say partying, but really, partying, it's about a place where adults can come together and have a cocktail, walk around World Showcase, and then experience some attractions.
Don't get me wrong. I understand Epcot. I get where it's coming from, and I'm happy about where it is going, or where it was going, at least. And like you said, I think it's definitely in the circumstance of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events right now. I think we were promised so many spectacular, wonderful things, and Disney definitely had Epcot on its list as like, we're going to make this the new destination for Disney World. And then the pandemic hit, and they didn't have the funds to make some of this stuff. And it's unfortunate. I'm not blaming them. I think where I'm coming from right now is take it offline. Take Epcot offline for a while, really redo it, and then show us Epcot. Because right now, I feel like it's not worth the price of admission to go to Epcot right now. It is, at least it was in April, a construction zone. I mean, there was not much to do. It was really inconvenient to get around because of all the walls that were up. The barges right now for Harmonious make those views of the World Showcase really gross right now. I have to say, there's not a great photo opportunity there right now. So I think take it offline for a minute. Just let it rest. Let's don't show people your house under construction. Show them the reveal. That's where I'm coming from.
Those are all valid points. I can see what you're saying about taking it offline. I don't think, obviously, financially it's possible for Disney right now, nor would they want to. They want that money coming in, obviously.
Yeah.
But, that's a great point, Patrick. If it was possible, let me be honest. It actually is possible. Disney just doesn't want to do it, right? Like, they don't want to lose that income.
Right.
But Disney still has the money to do everything they announced. They just are a little scared right now because of the pandemic, but eventually we will get everything we were promised, or the big things anyway. But you're right. This is interesting. Maybe you do. You just shut off the lights and you say, sorry, folks, Epcot's closed for the time being. I would love to see what that would do to Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, and Animal Kingdom. Those crowds would be swamped with people.
Yeah, for sure. At the very least, maybe make Epcot a little bit cheaper to go to right now.
That's a great idea, too. Or just make it about World Showcase for now, right?
Sure.
Like Future World, as it stands now. And the last time I was there was 2019 in December. So it was a while ago. But even then, the walled off areas, they just closed the Fountain of Nations at that point. So that was all walled off. I'm sure it's still all walled off. Mm-hmm. So maybe just make it a less expensive ticket for the day, Patrick. That's an excellent idea. And just make it about World Showcase for now and limit the capacity of World Showcase.
Yeah, make it a dining destination for a little bit,
That's a great idea. I love it. Have you reached out to Disney with this idea?
Not yet. It's on my list of things to do today. It's on my gay agenda.
Your gay agenda, dear Disney.
I will say, here's what I will say. The entrance into Epcot, spectacular. If this is what we're in for when they really overhaul the rest of it, it is going to be beautiful. It'll be a sight to behold. But like I said, right now, not much to behold.
It's got some body hair growing in some weird areas.
It needs some deodorant.
It needs some deodorant. It stinks a little bit. It needs new shoes once a month. It's changing, but I think the results will be worth the headaches for guests for now. But Patrick, I like the idea of a cheaper ticket.
Thank you so much. Epcot. That price,
Oh, Patrick. All right, Patrick. Clean cup, move down. Our last topic for this tea party.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
This last topic was proposed by you, and it has to do with mosquitoes and Walt Disney World.
What a way to end the tea party.
It's a pressing topic. And for a gingery, pale, pasty, sweet-blooded boy like me, those mosquitoes come after me. Patrick, talk to us about mosquitoes in Disney World, because I know nothing about this kind of recent conversation people are having.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one, and it kind of made me laugh and a little terrified at the same time. There is there's a viral video going around right now, a TikTok video from the user Michael McBride. I think it's got like over 1 million views right now that as anyone knows who's gone to Disney World or Florida in general, Florida's on a swamp, right? Florida's basically a big swamp that's quite frankly full of mosquitoes. And yet when you're in Disney World, you never seem to really see a mosquito. And the claim is that there's actually something called a mosquito surveillance program that Disney has where they are frankly spraying like 14 acres or something around Disney down with really potent mosquito repellent, basically. So they're just sort of keeping the mosquitoes at bay, right, for us, but using chemicals at the same time. Now, I haven't read too much into the story, but it did catch my eye, and it made me stop and go, boy, oh boy, is the air safe around? It must be. I don't know what they're doing, how they're doing. I know that Disney has, conservation in mind at the top of their mind at all times. So I want to believe what they're doing is safe and, quite frankly, necessary. What could ruin a trip more than just being bit by mosquitoes all the time while you're in Disney? So anyways, that's the story. It's weird and it made me laugh.
I would be absolutely attacked by mosquitoes if Disney didn't do something about it. I mean, I'm attacked going to any kind of ruralish area in like the Midwest. I just get bit up like crazy and it drives me nuts. And I'm always amazed that when I visit Walt Disney World, I never get a mosquito bite, even though, I'm basically in swampland. And so Disney is obviously doing something, and it's probably very potent and powerful to keep those mosquitoes at bay. But like you said, I have to believe that they are doing or going about it safely, right? I mean, they can't be putting our health at risk. Granted, they did reopen during a pandemic, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the mosquitoes.
Right. Yeah. And also, they have Animal Kingdom, right? And all these endangered species to think about as well. So again, I want to believe that what they're doing is safe, but I don't know. I mean, a chemical's a chemical, and this would be really bad news for Disney if it turned out to be toxic, right? So hopefully more to come, and hopefully they'll address this at some point. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need to be addressed because it's not an issue. Who can say?
Don't major cities like Minneapolis, don't they have some kind of like mosquito treatment program? Because I never got like stung by a mosquito when I was in Minneapolis.
I think they do, or they used to. I don't really know enough about it. I don't know why I put this in the story if I don't know anything about it. But but I think you're right. I think major cities or metropolitan areas do something at least.
So I would assume Disney would take whatever we've learned over the course of however long we've been fogging for mosquitoes. I don't know what the technical term is, but they would want to keep their guests safe and healthy, right? While also maintaining this kind of very enjoyable experience by not getting attacked by these bugs. So hopefully they're using some kind of very progressive programs and kind of, I like the idea of mosquito surveillance program, because to me that kind of reads as like they're figuring out how to abate the issue without necessarily like spraying everyone down with chemicals.
Right. Yeah, for sure. One part of the story that definitely caught my attention that, again, I want to believe that they're doing this in an ethical way, but they're using chickens, Adam, as test subjects for where the mosquitoes are, so that when, I think, again, I don't know enough about it, but it sounds like they're testing the chickens that do get bit by mosquitoes to make sure that they're not having reactions, basically, to the chemicals or to the mosquitoes themselves.
And then are they serving those chickens at Hoop-Dee-Doo Review?
Well, they were.
That's actually how they're tenderizing them, by attacking them with mosquitoes, injecting them with that sweet chicken flavor, and then serving them at dining experiences.
That's right. What could be funnier than animal cruelty,
It's hilarious, Patrick.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's a bonkers story for sure.
I'd be interested if there are any cast members out there who listen to the podcast, and we know you're out there, and we know you do. If you want to reach out to us, we will anonymously report back on the podcast about what you know about the mosquito surveillance program, if it is in fact real, or what you just kind of know in general about like what Disney's doing to keep those mosquitoes at bay.
Yeah, if anyone has any information, let us know. Spill the tea on our tea party.
Please do that. And if you have any thoughts or comments or reactions to any of the topics we covered this week, feel free to reach out to us. You can do so by contacting us on social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
That's right. Or you can give us your reactions or send us some new topics to discuss by emailing us or giving us a voice memo at info@gaysdothed.com. And with that, Adam, no more clean cups. The dishes are dirty. Put them in the dishwasher. The tea party is over. Officially.
I'd like to add on to that last topic, though, Patrick. I mean, what about spiders? What's Disney doing to protect us from spiders?
Oh, God. Oh, I can't. This is my nightmare, talking about spiders.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Adam.
We've reached the end of this episode, this hot episode full of so many hot topics.
Hot topics, hot tea, hot takes, hot Hiddleston, you know?
Oh, hot Hiddleston. Let's just go back to that for a second.
Oh, I've been there. I'm still there.
You know, I was never attracted to him as Loki until this series, and now I'm suddenly like, hello.
Oh, I see you now.
I was always a Thor guy, but ever since that machine just burned his clothing off of him, I can't stop thinking about Tom Hiddleston.
It was so abrupt. I liked it.
It was very, very exciting. Yes.
That's how I'm going to undress from now on. I guess I would have to be dressed to get undressed, you know?
Great point. Maybe a laser will dress you.
If you stay naked, you don't have to get naked.
It's all about saving time.
And there's not enough time in the world.
There is not enough time. And speaking of time, it's Quick D time. We got to wrap up this episode, Patrick. Quick D gives Patrick and I a moment to really just entertain ourselves. And this week we are doing Quick D Imagine Queering, in which Patrick and I will take an existing Disney attraction and we're going to gay it up. There's really no better way to celebrate Pride than with Imagine Queering, Patrick.
That's right. That's right. We're going to get offensive with Disney attractions. And that's what Pride is all about, folks. I have Chewbacca in one hand.
There he is. That mug has made an appearance. The mug, featuring Chewbacca's mug. It's been so long since we've done Imagine Queering, Patrick. It's been a minute.
I can't even remember the last time we did this. I'm very excited to reach inside of Chewbacca.
Okay, it's happening. Patrick's hand is fully inside Chewbacca.
If I had $1. All right, are you ready, Adam?
I'm 100% ready. What is the attraction?
The attraction we are Imagine Queering today is It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Interesting. I mean, this is kind of the moment because Avengers Campus came through, rolled through, and just smashed through Bugs Land in DCA.
It's true. It's certainly tough to be a mosquito right now, at least in Disney World.
Oh, Patrick.
How are we going to gay up? It's tough to be a bug, Adam.
Well, the good news is that we're already inside a theater.
It's true. It's already a little bit gay with the musicality behind it.
It's very putting on a show. Judy and Mickey in a barn, making it happen with the kids.
Is that the plot of Babes in Arms that you just referenced?
It is 100% the plot of Babes in Arms, yes.
I just outgayed myself that I clocked that reference.
But maybe it's a different kind of show that the Bugs are trying to put on. Maybe it's a fashion show.
Ooh, I like it. It's tough to clock a mug.
Oh, Patrick. So they're serving face. Maybe it's a little bit more like Legendary on HBO Max.
I would 100% watch the cast of It's Tough to Be a Bug Vogue.
All those different challenges, looks or serving face or voguing. And Jamila Jamil can still be a guest host, although we'll need to give her name like a bug pun name.
Ooh, yes, we do. Think on that. We also need Deshaun Wesley to host it as well. So Jamila and Deshaun need bug names.
And I also need Deshaun just to kiss me, and I'm giving him consent to kiss me.
Yeah, he's an attractive, talented man, I'll tell you what.
His voice.
His bod. Thank you, God, for all that bod.
Thank you, God, for all that bod. I just want him to be in my bedroom from the moment I wake up. And he's like, Adam, rising, bed, crossing to the closet, head, going to the bathroom shower.
Brush 1001, brush 2002.
Yeah, it's just basically I want him counting down my life. But getting back to Imagine Queering.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're doing. I forgot about that.
I'd also like to give the guests an opportunity to join in if they might, with a Fast Pass experience, perhaps. Perhaps they come dressed in their finest, ready to perform. Maybe we invite some guests to serve face, serve looks.
I'm serving Spider.
I'm serving Ladybug. Ugh, ugh, ugh.
Ladybug realness.
It also provides an opportunity for Disney to educate those that aren't familiar on ballroom culture, which, as we know, is a huge part of gay history and should be celebrated during Pride Month. So there's a nice little tie-in right there for Disney to take advantage of.
I love this. I love this. Maybe instead of the spiders that drop from the ceiling, it's everyone gets a fan. They just drop fans down on everybody. The fans.
Everyone leaves with a fan.
We can still have, when the bugs leave the theater and you just get a little tickle in your bum. Still happens, but it's not bugs leaving. It's just hot men under those benches.
I'd like Deshaun to be under my bench.
Understood. And you know what the spray on your face is.
No, come on.
Okay, we can't go there. Okay,
You've
great.
already made a cheese joke in this episode, and now you want to talk about spray?
Oh, we're gonna win so many awards for this episode. That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.